Hi there and welcome to another video from Hegarty Maths. It's Mr. Hegarty here, and in this video we're dealing with simultaneous equations by elimination, our fourth and most complicated video on this topic so far. Now, there are four problems here for simultaneous equations. They're the types we've already solved. I don't necessarily want you to go ahead and actually solve each of the four. What I'd like you to do is pause and for each part talk out loud how you would go about solving it. Try and describe what you would do to solve it rather than actually solving it. So pause the video and have a go at that. Okay, the first one. Well, what I would do is I would look at the coefficients and say that we've both got a positive 1y in each case. So I would subtract the equations from each other to eliminate y. I would therefore be able to find x. Having found x, I'd substitute back in to find y. And I'd check my answer, obviously. What would I do here? Well, in this case, the coefficients of the x's were the same. So what I'd do is I'd subtract these equations, but this time I'd eliminate x. I'd go on and find y. Having done that, I'd use that to find x and then check my answer. But what about in 3 and 4? What was slightly different in these cases? I hope you remember. Well, here we've got a 2 and a 2y. The coefficient is 2. But in this case it's positive 2y, and this case it's negative. So we're not going to subtract the equations this time. This time we're going to add both the equations, and that will eliminate the y, helping you find x, and you can use that afterwards to substitute back and get y. And the same thing here, other than this time we're going to add the equations to eliminate the x's to first find y, and then we can go on and find the x after and check our answer. I would expect you to be able to solve all of those, but it's useful sometimes to be able to describe how to solve it, because that's kind of like showing that you actually get it deep down if you can describe what you're doing. Now, in this particular video we're going to solve questions like this. Now I want you to look at that and think to yourself, why is that a bit different to anything in parts 1 to 4 above? Well, the reason that's different is, as the two simultaneous equations currently stand, they don't have a similar coefficient. The x here has a 4 and a 5, and the y has a 1 and a 2. So they don't currently have the same number of x's or y's, the same coefficient. So as they stand, we couldn't add the equations or subtract them to eliminate the x or the y. Maybe we could have to do something first. And that's exactly what the type of questions are going to be like in this particular skill. So why don't we start by trying that very question at the bottom. Now you may already think to yourself, I know what I do. Pause the video if so and try it yourself. Otherwise we're going to work through it together, starting now. As before, label the equations 1 and 2. As before, look for a same coefficient, which we don't have. But can you think of a way to make the equations have either the same number of x's or the same number of y's? Well, the easiest thing to do, I hope you can see, the easiest option would be to multiply this whole equation by 2. Why would that be useful to us? Well, then we'd have 2y. And we already have 2y down in this one. So that would be the easiest option for us. So let's have a go at doing that. Let's write the answer to when we multiplied the whole equation by 2 here. I'm going to multiply this by 2, and I'm going to get 8x. I'm going to multiply this by 2 and get add 2y. And I'm going to multiply this by 2 and get 28. And that's going to be a new equation which we're going to call equation 3. Let's write equation 2 underneath it, because that has a 2y in it as well. So 5x add 2y is equal to 19. Just keep that as equation 2. Now we're in a fantastic position, I hope you can see, because we've got 2y's here and 2y's here, and we could do the same old thing we used to do. We can subtract these equations to eliminate the y, and then find x, and use it to then afterwards go and find our y. So let's subtract equations 3 subtract 2. 8x subtract 5x is 3x. 2y subtract 2y is nothing, purposely chosen. 28 subtract 19 is equal to 9. And then I could divide both sides by 3 to undo that, multiply by 3, and I get myself that x is therefore equal to 3. I'm nearly done, but I need to find y, so I'm going to sub x equals 3 into equation 1, 2 or 3? I think the easiest one is equation 1 there. It's got the smallest coefficients. So I'm going to say 4 brackets 3, putting in 3 here, plus y is equal to 14. So therefore 12 add y is equal to 14. Taking away 12 off both sides, I can clearly see that I've got y is therefore equal to 2. And my answer, therefore, which I'll state, is x is 3 and y is 2. And we're done in that regard. Now, before we go on, let's check our answer. If 4 times 3 is 12, add 2 is 14. Done there. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 2 is 4. 15 add 4 is 19. Put your little smiley face to say you've checked it. And there you go. That's it. We're done. What was different? The only thing that's different is we had to do some sort of adjustment to the equation to get the coefficients the same before we could do our subtraction. So, now that you know the idea, maybe you're ready to try this one totally yourself. Pause the video, have a go. As before, label them 1 and 2. Look for same coefficients. That's 3, that's 4, no good. That's 2, that's -1, no good. What would be the easiest thing to do to one or both the equations to get the coefficients to have the same number? Well, I think I know. I think it would be a good idea to multiply that one by 2, then I'd have -2y, which is like the positive 2y, and I could do something with them to eliminate y. So let's go ahead and multiply everything in this equation by 2. That multiplied by 2 would give me 8x. That multiplied by 2 would give me subtract 2y is equal to double this, which would of course equal to 58. And write that as equation 3. While you're at it, write equation 1 above it. It's easier when they're in a line like that. Okay, now how am I going to eliminate the y's from this? Well, because I've got positive 2y and negative 2y, all I have to do is add these equations and the 2y's will get eliminated. 8x add 3x is equal to 11x. 58 add 19 is equal to 77. Divide both sides by 11 and I'm going to get myself that x is equal to 7. To find y, sub x equals 7 into either equation 1, 2 or 3. Probably easiest in here because I've got, or easiest here because they're all positive. So let's say 3 bracket 7, putting 7 in here, add 2y is equal to 19. 21 plus 2y is therefore 19. Subtract 21 off both sides. I get that 2y is therefore equal to -2, and divide both sides by 2, y is -1. And my answer is x is 7, y is -1, and I am done. Obviously I better check that's right. 3 times 7, 21, 2 times -1, -2, 21 take away 2, 19, looking good. 4 times 7, 28, 1 times -1, -1, 28 subtract -1 is 28 add 1 is 29. Put my little smiley face, I'm done. Next one, pause the video, have a go. Okay, as before, call that equation 1 and equation 2. What do I have to do then? Well, I've got a 2 here and a 5 here, they're not the same. A 3 here and a 4 here, they're not the same. I can't do anything to a single equation to get them exactly the same straight away. So, I'm thinking, well, what I could do, I could multiply this whole one by 5, that would get me the 10x there. And I could multiply this whole one by 2, and that would get me 10x there. And I could eliminate x's. I mean, I could have multiplied this whole equation by 4 to get 12y, and this whole one by 3 to get 12y, and done the same thing. But I'm just did the first thing that came to my head there, and so I'm going to do that. What will I get? Multiplying everything up here by 5, I get 10x, add 15y is equal to 60, equation 3. And multiplying everything here by 2, I get 10x, add 8y is equal to 46, equation 4. I'm going to subtract the equations from each other to eliminate the 10x. So if I subtract these, 15y take away 8y is 7y, and that's going to equal 14. Divide both sides by 7, I get myself y is equal to 2. At this stage, I'm just going to work and get x. Quickly, I'm not going to talk, you should know how to do that now. Okay, next one. Pause the video, have a go. Label them 1 and 2. decide what you want to be the same. I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to multiply that by 5 and that one by 2. And I'm going to get myself 10x add 15y is equal to 25, equation 3. And here I'm going to get myself 10x take away 4y is equal to negative 32 if I double that. Then what am I going to do? I'm going to subtract the two equations. Got to be careful. 10x take away 10x is nothing. I purposely did that to eliminate x. 15y subtract negative 4y is 19y. Be careful. 25 subtract negative 32 is like 25 add 32, which is going to equal 57. Divide both sides by 19 3 times, so y is 3. And from this point you should be able to find x, which I'm just going to show, but I'll go through it super speedy without talking. And there you go, that's it for this video.